Homestead Grandma here. I'm still working on this birthday quilt for a 2-year-old. I decided I did not like the 6-inch wide border that it instructed to make, so I trimmed the border, and then I took pieces of the two fabrics, the border and the backing, and made my flange border. Now, the way you make a flange border is you cut your strips one a ½ inch longer than the other. And then when you fold the ends together, you get this little flange. So how you make it then after that is you put your binding behind the quilt. Let's see, that's the wrong end. Well, okay, you put your binding behind the quilt. That was the right end. I thought it was. You put it behind the quilt like this. And then you sew, and that's puffed up. Okay, now it's even. You sew these two edges together all the way around. And you leave enough room at the corners to miter the edges. So you're going to stitch all the way around like this, and then nope, I've got it backwards. Well, pooh. Well, I'll show you. I'll just do it, and then I'll show you. But when you turn it over, when you fold it back over, it's going to be like this. When you fold it over, you get the flange along the edge, and then you stitch in the ditch along the flange, and you don't have to do any hand sewing for your border. So on this side, I have a pink edge in between my green, and on this side, I have a pink background, and I have the green showing. So that's how it's going to look. So you do, I'll stitch it on there and then I'll show you. I get myself discombobulated a little bit. But anyway, it is almost done. Just needs the border, and then I'll run it through an allergy-free wash and dry cycle, and it'll be ready to fold up and gift. Okay, my thread broke, so I took it all off of the machine and looking. So this one's done, this one's done, all up through there. All of those are quilted. I like how they look, I like how they're turning out. It's not like it would be on a long arm, but it still works. I always like to wash it after I'm done anyway, so it'll really look like it's gonna look for the rest of the time. I need to trim that. So I have 14 squares left to do. I think I'll be able to knock it out. Okay, I'm on my 6th bobbin. I took a minute to clean the inside where the bobbin case goes. Got it all shiny, got all the lint out of it. There was actually quite a bit more than this. I don't know if you noticed my coffee can. I'd always keep a coffee can for loose threads, bits of lint, broken needles, whatever trash accumulates from sewing. So I'm going to put some oil on this part of my bobbin case. I think this is called the race, the bobbin race, but I'll put my needle in the upright position right there and put some oil on this and put it back in and load my bobbin, and I should be good to go till the end. I've got I think 10 more blocks to do, and then make my binding, and then I'll sew it on. I'll show you how I do that. But this smooth edge will need a little drop of oil on it, and I'll close everything up and get going. Grace looks so sad. think I'm gonna take a break from sewing and take her outside and throw the ball. If you get turkeys, don't get turkeys like mine. My guys think that I'm starving them. And they bit the heck out of my finger. Look at that. From outside the fence. Which is why I don't feed them in their pen anymore. Old Gobbler reached his head straight through and got me, even though I'm trying to avoid him. That hurts. You're mean, Gobbler. Why you be like that? Huh? That's where they usually get stuck and can't find their way into the pen, but I guess they figured it out. Little piggies. Y'all should be called pigs instead of turkeys. Like I said earlier, I got the needle broke and it's lodged down there where the feed dogs are. And I got these pliers to help me pull it out, and it is stuck. Got it to come out a little bit. Man, I hope this did not, oh, it broke off. Shoot. I hope it did not damage my sewing machine. Just when you thought nothing could go wrong. Well, it turns. That's one thing. I was just trying to do a quick quilt line around the border, which is 6 inches wide. I don't know why it had to be so wide. I don't really prefer that, but okay, let me dig into this and see what I can find. Okay, Homestead Grandma here. I'm back. I've got it all figured out on your flange binding. You stitch your binding on where you can see the same color as your stitching on. So if you're stitching it onto the back, you'll see the same color as your back. This is if you're using 2 colors. If you're stitching it onto the front, you will see the same color as your front. And then when you fold it over, you're going to miter the corners like this. And this is, you have to miter them in the back as you go, like that. And then you'll fold the back over to the front, and then now I'm just gonna stitch in the ditch all along this pink and green line. And when I get done with all of that and trim my threads, this quilt is done.